Welcome back to the PAFA wire wrapping channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this Viking weave. I bought this from Michael's. This is an Ocean Jasper, purple Ocean Jasper. I don't know if the rest of you are as frustrated with Michael's as I am right now. They've put in all these automatic checkouts, and it's very hard to get a cashier, and I find it very frustrating. If you've had this experience, please share that in the comments. I'd love to know if I'm the only one that's find this really annoying. Anyway, I still like some of their merchandise, so I still go there begrudgingly now, but this is a really pretty, I love purple and lavender, so I really like these. And they're not very big. The size is about 3/4 of an inch long by about 1/2 inch wide. What else you're going to need today? You really should have a grid board or something with a grid on it, because that does help. Most importantly, this pin. This pin is going to come, any pin is going to come in handy for this because it's very hard to get your wire underneath once you get started here. Also, we're going to be using tweezer nose pliers, flush cutters, bail makers, wire straighteners. We need one 5-inch piece of wire. I'm using 20 gauge dead soft round sterling silver wire, plus about 25 inches of 26 gauge dead soft round sterling silver wire. The reason it's cut already, it's very hard to do this by using the spool. In a lot of cases it's good to just keep it on the spool, but in this case you can't, because you have to thread it through and you can't thread the spool through. So also a pen and some painter's tape. What I've already done is you go to your stone. Now you can do this on a round stone, a larger stone, but I'm using a smaller stone today. But anyway, what I did was I put the tape on top, and then I drew a diamond within the inside edges of the stone, basically, because the diamond will be the frame, and I'm not very good at shaping those on my own, so I drew one. And so basically you want the edges to go almost to the end, but not quite, so that they don't show on the front. Once you've drawn this, the easy thing to do is, and now this particular design, you can find, other people have done it, and I learned how to do it. I believe the channel is Handmade. I'll try and figure out how to spell that. I'm pretty sure it's L-A-N and then H-A-N, capital H-A-N, and Handmade. And they do this same design and everything. The only thing I do different is the bail. I didn't feel very comfortable with the bail, although it looks pretty the way she did it. I think she's a she. It looks pretty because she does a little additional thing on there, but I just found it a little challenging to do it that way. So I'm showing you a different way. Anyway, we take this at 2.5 inches, and we take our flush, no, we do not take our flush cutters. I've done that before. I've accidentally cut it in half. We bend it in half, not cut it. And we go, we go to the halfway mark, put your pliers on there, and then you just want to make kind of a sharp V. What you want is for your V to basically go up against, this did not come out as sharply as I like, but you want it to come up against your bottom V there, and then you're going to take your pliers at the point that you've drawn and bend that, and bend it there, and hopefully we're going to come up with yeah, I can never see, that's why I have to draw it. I can never make it the right length. Let's see if it's, I guess it's fairly even. You want it to be pretty even across. And then when you get to the top, you can just do that, okay? And so you should have something that resembles kind of a diamond there, hopefully. What you're going to do first, just wrap this, I take about, I don't know, 1 inch or so. Wrap it around the bottom a few times to secure it. And then I usually feel like I'm coming down with something. I don't know. It's getting to be that time of year. And I just do it on one wire a few times, because that'll keep it, in theory, from pulling up, because sometimes we pull too hard. And I've actually practiced this before and ruined it because I pulled too hard and my wire came flying off. And you want to try to avoid that. So once you've done that, push that all the way down. And now I'm gonna flip this. I wrapped it the wrong direction actually for what I want to do. Let's see if I can do this. Basically, I'm going to come out, and of course now it's all bent. I'm going to come out the other side. I'm very bad with spatial things. So, and we don't want this real tight because we're going to try to make it a little bit of a bail like this, so you don't want them like right up against each other, but I did make them a little bit tight. Okay, so basically I'm gonna leave that a little bit loose, and you can always loosen them up after you're finished by going in the bottom area there. So and then if it's bent, just you want it straightened. So now the thing to do, because I want the wire to come around this way from the back, and I don't know if that's a left-handed thing or not, that I am left-handed. And once you put, let's see, I'm gonna bend this kink out of here first. You hold it there, and you're gonna bend it kind of like that. But before we get started, I think the smart thing to do here is take some painter's tape. I just took a small amount and tape around the top here, and hope this works, because I've tried to do it other ways before and it doesn't work. And try to make sure that when it's taped that you're right in the center and you're where you want to be on the back. Then hold the wire down. It's going to be curving like that. And again, if you need to straighten it, it helps. Hold on to everything tight when you do that so things don't go pulling out of joint. So as you can hopefully see, you go kind of around and then up under, not getting your bail caught in there or anything. And hopefully you get it kind of tight. Okay, and it should look something like that. Then you're gonna cross it over, and you're going to go to the next one. Again, kind of going over and then up under. And this one, you can see that my frame has moved a little, so I'm going to have to adjust that. This is the tricky part, is always getting it underneath. And it's not even attached yet, so that makes it even more challenging. So now that I've gotten it through, I'm going to just kind of pull this back because I want it to be in the right space, making sure this doesn't go out over the edge, and then pull it, holding on to this as you pull it, because you want it to stay in the right position. And sometimes you pull and it doesn't come, so you'll need to use your pliers. Okay, then hopefully that's tight enough. Then you go over to the next side, and hopefully these will all kind of look the same. And it, you know, if it's pulling over, make sure that it's where you want it before you do any wrapping. So then again, this goes up under here, and you can see how the wire is just trying to get in your way. Don't go through the wire. Okay. And making sure it's in the place you want. Kind of hold on to that because you don't want it going in too far. We're getting to the point. Let's just double check everything and make sure they all look, everything's kind of straight. It looks pretty good. Okay, so the next step, we're going to have to pull this tape off, is we're going to go up and around the bail here for the first time. We won't do that for the second, but for the first time we have to do that. And if you feel like it might be a little bit safer, go around a second time. So then we can remove the tape. Now we can take a breath, because I think it's going to get a little bit easier from here on in. And it's not going to be perfect, but it's close to where we want it. Then we're going to go down to the next one again. We're going to go over like we did before. And this is where the pin will come in, because it gets really hard to get it underneath this once it's attached. So you're going to take that pin, stick it through. Keep your wire out of your way if you can. And put that through. And hopefully you'll make sure very carefully that you get then take the pin out, of course. You've gone over and through. Uh-oh, I think I did something wrong here. Yeah, I must have crisscrossed something. And you have to keep an eye on that because it's real easy with the way the wires get in your way to make a mistake as far as how your direction is going here. So I'm going to take that out. Hopefully that's the last time I make that mistake today. And of course, as you straighten your wire, it becomes even more annoying because it wants to be a curly Q at that point. So just do your best. Oh, okay. I didn't get it all the way out. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. We're going to go this way. And then we're going to take the pin. And then we're going to go in this way, which hopefully I've got it correct this time. As I've always said, I tend to be learning with you guys. So I've actually sold these, but I don't do it enough to remember the right directions of the wires sometimes. Okay, but with that one worked. Okay, so we did it, and we go through, and we cross over there, and we're going to need the pin again, because I don't know if you can tell, but this is very tight here now. So what you want to do is be below where it crisscrossed there, and you're going to go underneath, pull that through, take the pin out, and pull it through gently, and then push it up, and see, it might need a little straightening. And just try and pull that through tightly, but don't over tighten because you don't want to mess your wires up. Okay, so see how it gets so much easier once you've done a couple of these. Starting to see a pattern here, so woohoo! Again, go under here, get the wire. Without the pin, this would really be difficult, so I really urge you not to try doing this without a pin because it gets very tight there. Okay. Okay. And now, so now we're going back up to the top area where we went around the bail last time. And then it'll always look a little odd at the top because you just don't do it the same way. But you can see the crisscross there. So we're going to go underneath that. And I don't know if I need the pin for the top one. Let's see if I can't get that through without it. Yeah, look at that. Okay. So the top one might be a little easier the first time through without the pin. Again, pull it tightly, but don't, totally distort everything like I've done. Okay, and it's starting to look okay. All right, so then we're going to just repeat this. You may want to fast forward through all this, but then again, if you want to watch the whole thing, I won't delete it because I'm going to go basically doing the same thing until I get to the center. That'll take a few minutes, and some people don't have the patience, so I hardly have the patience to be doing it right now because it's a beautiful day and I kind of want to be outside. And by the way, if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I'd love to hear your comments. I really appreciate all the subscribers I've been getting lately. I mean, all the subscribers I've gotten entirely, actually, not just the ones that I got lately. It helps me a lot, and I'm hoping at some point to monetize the channel so I can keep doing this. Hopefully my brain won't stop coming up with ideas for you. And again, this one, it's been done, obviously, but not with the different bail. You could certainly figure it out on your own if you're experienced, and if you're not as experienced, I hope you're appreciating this video. So just pull that. You want to try to make your lines kind of as neat as possible. So it looks pretty. Really happy to be getting this going. I tried yesterday. I guess I wasn't in the right mindset, and I failed to get the frame on without messing it up a few times. And that's one of the things I like to let you know, that when you see these beautifully done, perfect videos, and then you try it, it's like, well, she made it look so easy. Well, I never make it look so easy. I make it look realistic, I hope, because it isn't always easy. For some people, and I applaud them, it comes really naturally, and they don't have any problems getting it right the first time, and I think that's amazing. That's not me. It may not be you, but if you practice, you get better at it. And I mean, you know, anybody trying a new thing needs to practice. If you don't, you're probably not going to do well, because it's just like the violin, which I never did. But if you don't practice it, how are you going to improve? So just remember, keep practicing with your wire wrapping, because that will get you where you want to go. If you feel really passionate about this craft and you really want to get somewhere with it, then just don't give up. I mean, you should have seen some of the stuff I made early on. It was pretty scary. And yet, you know, there's always somebody who likes it, because art is very subjective, and this is an art. And you might think it's not that good, but somebody else might really like it. You don't know why. Something appeals to them about the color or the design or the stone. You know, like they say, eye of the beholder. Hopefully this video won't be as long as some of my other ones. We should be finished here in a few minutes, if all goes well, with this part, and then the bail shouldn't take too long. It's like a basic, I think it's called a ladder bail that we're going to do. You can do whatever bail you want. It's just that's what I'm going to do, assuming I didn't make it so tight that I can't get my wires. And when you're going through with this pin, you know, be sure you don't poke yourself, because that'll hurt. We always have to be really careful when we're wire wrapping, because it's, you know, you can hurt yourself, and let's try not to do that. Okay, so just take your time with this, so you get it right. Last night I was feeling a time crunch, and I think if you feel like, when you start a project, if you feel like you're limited on time, you're probably going to screw it up, which is what I did. You want to not be feeling stressed. You want to enjoy it. Let's see. There, oh, we got it. It's hard to tell for you probably, but I did get it through. Okay, pulling it, and I take the pin out. And it's getting, as you can see, it's starting to get closer and closer to the center. And we will end it in the center in a minute. As you can see, it also, you know, you have to kind of straighten it. It has a tendency to be a little lopsided if you don't straighten it as you go. Sometimes I want to pull this, because if it looks like there's too much space on one side, and it'll always look a little bit like that because of the way we had to do it at the bail. If somebody has a better idea for how to do it at the bail so it doesn't look like there's a missing line, please let me know in the comments, because I only know what I know, and that's all I know. It's starting to get a little bit bent here at the end, so I'm going to straighten it up. But at least it's a little easier with the wire being a bit shorter now. It's really not easy at the very beginning, so take your time when you're doing this. And also, see, it's starting to kink there, and make sure your wire doesn't kink before you pull it through, or you're gonna be sorry. Okay, so, and you may have to use your pliers here to just straighten that out, because it's a little tight now. So we're almost at the end here. I go around at least once more with that. And it gets harder to get the pin through too, as you get it tighter and tighter. And it also gets harder when you cannot see because your eyes are old, which is my problem. Oh, I got it. I think I got it, which is good. I didn't have to put my magnifiers on for that. Woohoo! That pin out before I poke myself. Okay. All right, I'm going to call this. You know what? I'm going to go around once more in here because it'll make it look like an even 4 loops, I think. I don't know if it matters, but I'm going to do that. Okay, I hope you can see what I'm doing. Sometimes I get into what I'm doing and I forget to check the screen to see if I'm actually on the screen. And then see how that bent over? You want to twist it back. So this is that. Now you just want to cut it off. I cut 25 inches of the 26 gauge, and once I do this, I should have enough to do the bail with this, so you can either cut your wire shorter for this, or you can cut it off at the end, making sure you have enough first, and then use it for your bail if you have enough for that. I'm sure it's going to be a small bail, so I'm sure this is going to be enough, assuming I can get it through. In this case, because it's so tight, one of the things you can do, if you can't, sometimes you can do it by putting a little hook on the end of that. That might work. Oh, it did. Okay, so I don't need the pin. Sometimes you may have to use the pin to go in between the lines and push your wire up and through, because it can get really tight. But pins are very good tools for wire makers that maybe nobody tells you about. Okay, so I pulled it through once to secure it. And now I'm going to have to go in here like a bomb expert and clip the right wire. If you clip the wrong wire, you're going to be very, very sad. So I'm putting my magnifiers on for this to make absolutely sure that when I clip, that I'm clipping the right wire. It's very tight in there. You can probably see it better than me at this point because you can close up your screen. All right, let's hope that that was the right wire that I clipped. I heard a clip, but I don't see it. It's real hard. I'll go in this way. And then just make sure you don't cut the wrong one. All right, and you can probably see there's a little bit of a tip there. So you take that and just bend it over and squish it down because you don't want anybody getting scratched on that. Okay. And now we can just kind of check and see how wonky it looks. And just kind of push it over a little bit. So hopefully that looks good. And I might tighten this up a little bit. I'm going to put my glasses back on here. I'm going to try and undo something maybe so I can loosen these bail wires up a bit so they're not so close together. All right, so now the bail is going to be a little bit looser, I think. And just going to try to push these guys down a little bit so they're not visible. Not too visible. Just to secure it, I'm going to push it under here again. But it's not quite as tight. It's hard to tell, but so, and then we'll do the bail and we'll be out of here. So I'm sorry for the delay with this. There's always something, I tell you. And it's not going to look quite as pretty as I hoped, but be careful when you do it that you don't make your bail too tight if you want to do the kind of bail I'm doing, that is, and you may or may not. Okay, that's done. I'm going to do the best I can to separate that a little bit. We don't need it, you know, wildly separated, just enough. And so we're going to do a couple of wraps around the bottom. And you can do these from up here to make it a little bit easier to start. Just do, I don't know, I'm going to do it like this. Just make it easier on myself. And then just push that down, and I'm going to cut the rest off. It really doesn't matter if the veil is attached because it's going to be attached when you finish it. Okay, so just did a couple there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go under. I wrap with my right hand even though I'm left-handed, so I don't know if that's what right-handers do. Being left-handed is very confusing. Okay, so push it down as much as you possibly can. After you've gone under, go over. Since I have a little bit of an end, I might, just to keep it down, tape it. There. Tape is useful too. Okay, so go around once, go over, go through, go around once, go under, go over, go around once, over, then under, then over. I'm not explaining this very well. Let me try again. Okay, so from this side, oh, we're not on that side. Never mind. Okay, so from this side, after you've got a wrap, you go up, and then you go one wrap and go under, then go one wrap and then go over. So that's basically what you're doing. And make sure, start making sure that this is straight. Your bail is straight and not like widening out one way or another. So we don't want it to be too wide because obviously at the bottom it's not. So, okay. And this won't take too long because go over. And to make it easier, also bend it outward like that so you can get through. So go over, come up under, go over and under, come up over, go over, come up under, go under, come up over. And if you need to use your pliers to really push it down, you can do that. See, I might have made mine too narrow at the top because it's a little bit wider right there. You can kind of tighten it like that, but it still might look weird. So just keep an eye on that as you go. I'm going to get to about, I don't know, at least 3/4 of an inch, hopefully. And then, oh, maybe a little bit more. And then I will be done with that. I may fast forward the rest because I think you get the gist. You just want to leave enough to have a tail at the end. You don't want to do the whole thing. So push it down. That should be enough. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with that. And this is where your bail making pliers come in. And it's good to have a little bit of tail of that extra because we're going to use that. So I would use for this particular one the fourth step, I think. Yeah, fourth step, hopefully. And hopefully that will be enough. If not, I'll go down to the third step, but we'll see. Okay, so that should be just about right. Okay, now I'm going to take this tape off. And I think I'll cut off this little bit here that I don't need anymore. Just get really close up there so it's not going to scratch anybody. Push it down, make sure it's not going to scratch anybody. Okay, now we're going to take our pliers. We're going to bend this up a bit and then push that down all the way against itself. And then we can take this little tail we have left, and I'm going to go under once or twice. And also that helps to pull it up. Just to give it a couple of wraps to secure it. Although it'll be secured anyway once we wrap it around. But okay, so then you've got that. And then you take it. First I'd make sure it's nice and pressed nicely against where it needs to be pressed. and then just wrap that around. 1, 2, and don't make it messy, 3. And then, where are the edges here? Oh, it's right there. Okay, so these are going to go up on the outside. I'm actually going to go under this one just because. So you want to go under one of these wires a few times to secure that. I'm going to go 3 times. Just 3 is always a good number with this. Push it up if you have to. Go one more time. So the key is I knew I had enough wire for the bail, so just make sure you have enough wire for your bail before you start wrapping it. Otherwise, just cut it off and get some fresh wire and start fresh. All right, so now I'm going to snip this off, press it down, and now you've got these wires sticking out here. Oops. So what I'm going to do, and it's a little bit awkward because you won't be able to fit anything really. You might be able to fit this one if you do it low down, but if you want it to kind of look the same, I would just do a couple of very small, okay, why is that loose? Uh-oh, something's loose. I didn't tighten it enough before. Okay. All right, I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to take this back off and tighten it up, and then I'll be back because I screwed up, obviously. Yet again. Okay, I didn't even have to cut that. I was just a little bit loose there. I didn't pull it really tight. Okay, so it wasn't as bad as I feared. And this time I'm really going to pull it tight. Okay, yeah, there we go. All right. See, just check and recheck before you go on to next steps, because you want to make sure you don't get too far ahead of yourself and then find out you screwed something up really bad and you have to undo the whole darn thing. So that is not too bad. Except I need the pen because I just shoved it under there. Okay. And just for good measure, I'm going to wrap it around once more. And then I'll cut it off under there. Once again, think about when you cut wires in tight little places, think about being on the bomb squad. Make sure that you can see what you're doing and you don't cut the wrong wire. Okay, so you can use your bail making to try to do this. You could probably get a smaller little loop with round nose pliers, which differ from bail making pliers because they're just graduated, they're not stepped, and they start with a very small little point there. So let's see. See, I can cut some of this off because it's a little bit big. Okay. And I can do that. And I'm going to cut some off here too. Excuse me, I just probably burped while I was talking. I may have cut too much off there, but... So then take your tweezer nose, and if you have something to press down, press it down. So that one I made real small, and I'm going to bring that back here. And what I think I'll do is take a little bit of 26 gauge wire. You could even use half round. I've got half round closer to me, so I'm just going to grab some. All right, 22 gauge half round. I'm just going to take a little bit of it, and I'm just going to secure these 2 loops. And again, you might need the pin. So this is pretty much finished. I just want to, and you don't have to secure these loops, but if you're selling it, for instance, you want to just make sure that nothing's coming out of place. I might have to come up this way. All right, I got it under there. Now the challenge, actually what is a cheat and an easier way to do this is to just open up your loop and do a couple of wraps, and then you won't have to kill yourself trying to get that through a tiny little loop. And then you can close your loop back up once you've attached it. So All right, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make maybe 2 wraps. And that's something with the other video, you don't have to do all this. When you're making things, you know, you do want to try to just do it in whatever way works best for you. You don't always have to follow the YouTuber person's exact design. That's what all this is about, is us learning our own path, our own designs with something we take from the videos. So I'm going to keep this wire and just go through and attach it to the other loop. Cut about that much off. No, I did not just throw my wire. It may have sounded like it, but yeah, I did. I threw my wire. Okay, can I get this, or will I need Mr. Pin again? I think I'm going to need Mr. Pin again. Okay, so I'm going to go around one more time maybe, and then I will curl you back up and let you rest. Because we all want to just curl up and rest half the time, don't we? All right, again, get yourself in there as best you can and cut it. And if it doesn't cut right where you want it, just kind of, if you have to, use your pin again. Yeah, I just poked myself with it too. It can slip. Actually, might just try to go back in there and cut, so I won't have to futz with it. There we go. Well, maybe not. All right, well, actually, that'll be hidden under there, so I won't have to see that. Okay. Okay, so there we go. That's the back. And I've made a big mess here, but that's secure. It looks fairly straight, front and back. There we go. All right, and any tweaks can be made gently with your pliers. You know, but don't push too hard on these because you don't want them disappearing on you. So, you know, I would just push in general on the sides if you're trying to get it a little bit straighter, you know. So hopefully that is good enough. And I really appreciate your patience with this. And I hope you enjoy making it. And thank you again. Please like and subscribe. And I'll be back as soon as I can with another video. I hope I won't get too overwhelmed because the holidays are coming and I've got a lot going on, but I wanted to get this out before the end of the month at least. All right, thanks so much. Take care. Bye.